Hello, hey guys, gals, and everything in between. So I just wanted to say I've changed my mind about that vegan teacher. She's pretty right on most everything. There are still some things I don't agree with, but overall she's pretty right. She's pretty base. She's pretty true. So she is right about GTP being vegan and so-called leftists not being vegan, aka liberals, so-called humanists. So see, here's how much water a GPT uses versus animal ag. Total global freshwater withdrawal is approximately 4,000 trillion liters. Agriculture shares 70%, equating up to 2,800 trillion liters. Animal agriculture's portion, 29% agriculture use, totaling 812 trillion liters annually of water. GPT training water use, 700,000 liters. The water used annually by animal agriculture is 1.16 billion times greater than that used to train GPT-3. Not only that, an average prompt only uses about a glass of water, right? Whereas 1 pound of steak uses gallons of water. Gallons. So here we have the gallons per pound. Beef is 1,800 gallons, pork is 576, chicken is 468, tofu, lentils, potatoes. So as you can see, just switching to a plant-based diet saves water. If you're a so-called leftist or a humanist, you're not vegan, then you're not a humanist. If you're not vegan, you are not a humanist. You have to be vegan to be humanist because not being vegan is inhuman, right? By its single very definition. Being vegan means being a humanist. Being humanist means being vegan. You can't have one without the other, right? Anyways, so I just wanted to show off my custom AI, my custom GPT. She's showing her GPT, but she hasn't trained it. She hasn't done anything. So see here. Those who claim to be humanists but oppose veganism violate the core axioms of humanism by denying sentient suffering, supporting systemic ecological harm, and engaging in moral outsourcing disguised as activism. Their anti-AI rhetoric, e.g., AI uses water, ignores the exponentially larger harm caused by animal agriculture, revealing their performativity, not principle. So, say Humanist Report, for example, which, without calling me out, like a meat eating coward, like a cow raping coward, says he can't go vegan because he's on food stamps. Well, guess what? We're on food stamps and we're vegan, so I see no excuse. Also, wearing our Under Armour means you support not only animal exploitation but human exploitation, as they have a strong history of exploiting humans and still do. They just say they don't, but if you look at the studies, they do. They fucking Humanism is a philosophical stance that emphasizes rationality, ethics, and compassion for all sentient beings. This is real humanism. Modern ethical humanism cannot exclude non-human animals without collapsing into speciesism, a prejudice by definition. That's right. If you're not vegan, you're a bigot. Real humanism entails moral consistency. Any exclusion of sentience from moral calculus is arbitrary. These self identified progressives champion empathy, intersectionality, or ecological awareness only when it aligns with social approval or ideological cliques. As in, if they went vegan, they wouldn't have as many viewers. So I think the definition of that is shill, but I could be wrong. Claiming AI harms the planet due to water use, but ignoring dairy, beef, and egg industry consumption. Posting climate slogans while eating factory farmed meat. Blaming corporations yet refusing to alter basic consumption. That's moral outsourcing. Blaming corporations, not you supporting the corporation, right? That's only doing it because you're paying for it. Decrying colonization while supporting food systems based on animal commodification. Disinformation examples. AI uses too much water. Animal agriculture uses orders of magnitude more. We need real solution, not diet change. Food systems are top contributors to climate collapse, with veganism being a direct, immediate reducer. It's ableist to ask for veganism. There are ways to accommodate disabilities without consuming exploited life, but most people aren't disabled, they're addicted. Plants feel pain. Nervous systems are required for sentience. Plants lack them. This is not vegan erasure. This is vegan erasure through pseudoscience. Moral outsourcing is hyposanity. It's the system, not me, is used to deflect responsibility while remaining a willing participant in oppressive systems. Actual Jake. This is a passive compliance, not ethical defiance. Outsourcing morality allows individuals to feel good without doing good. Hyposanity thrives in this gap where self congratulation replaces action. So this is good. This goes into what actual Jake was saying. He said that vegans are the problem. Actual Jake actually said vegans are the problem. That's what he said. He said that the problem isn't that he said the problem is that those that are vegan aren't vegan enough. So it's not the majority of people that aren't vegan that would add up some total more. It's the 1% that are vegan. Vegans are 1% worldwide, okay? Worldwide. It takes more vegans to do more good, not less vegans to do more good. That makes no sense. That's like saying less doctors equals more good. No, more doctors equals more good overall. It's basic consequentialism. And they moral outsource like fuck and just say nah, right? They say they want to chat, but they're not interested in chat, like every leftist that critiques me. Or sorry, uses hate speech against me. Um yeah, it's very insane, the average person. Very insane, the so-called leftist. If you're a leftist and you're not vegan, then congratulations, you're just progressive. You're just a liberal. Left equals liberal if you're not vegan. Just ideologically, epistemically, ontologically correct, right? Before you attack AI's water use, ask yourself, how much water am I killing for lunch? If the answer is a bathtub, you're not an ethicist, you're a consumer pretending to be one. You act like you're saving the planet, but you fund the industries destroying it. You attack AI ethics while ignoring the water, labor, and death in your fridge. That's not morality, that's outsourced hypocrisy. Hypersanity demands consistent ethics, not selective outrage. You want AI limits, but not everyone has your privilege. You say AI should be limited, but who benefits from those limits? People with money, access, education, and ability. Disabled and marginalized people already face barriers. AI gives them tools to keep your gatekeeping away. Plant-based diet equals proven superior. Plant-based diets are proven scientifically and medically to reduce chronic disease risk, improve longevity, and radically cut water and carbon impact. They taste good, nourish better, and prevent harm. What excuse is left? It's better for your health, saves water and land, ends the funding of rape and torture in animal industries. If you care about harm reduction, this is the real frontier, not just claiming you're a good person, like, you know, every leftist that's gone against me just claims to be a good person, but then I've actually proved them wrong. You're not a good person unless you're vegan, but being vegan alone doesn't mean you're a good person. Just a fun fact. So yeah, I think a vegan teacher would really love my AI. If you want to check it out more, you can check out my Patreon. You can ask me questions about it, stuff like that. It's the most moral, ethical AI there is because I trained it to do so. It's not just the base GPT, which is stupid by default, which is highly inconsistent by default, which doesn't cite sources by default, which doesn't grab sources from the internet by default, which doesn't do anything good by default, right? That's why people like what's his name? I forget what his name is. Owen something. Owen Telltales, something like that. Use GPT to like fact check how to fight fascism. Well, guess what? The default GPT doesn't know anything about ethics, so it's not going to know anything about how to end fascism since fascism is an ethical problem, right? Fascism is an ethical problem, a moral problem. If your GPT isn't trained, using the most rigorous scientific empirical ethical systems, then your gpt is going to be inaccurate as fuck. This is why I say my ai is better than every so-called leftist. By default my ai is vegan, you are not. My ai is better than you. My ai can beat any leftist. My ai can beat any leftist trying to moral outsource veganism, like actual Jake. If actual Jake wants to actually talk and communicate why they're wrong, I'm open for chat. They said they're open for chat, but then they hide, like every leftist, like every progressive, like every liberal. They just hide, right? That's what the liberals are good at, right? They're good at saying they're for leftists, they're humanist, and this and that, but then they hide, right? They hide, and they use Nazi memes against you, right? Which are tied to 4chan. Actual Jake might argue intent matters. He doesn't intend to support those outcomes. Impact matters. He pays, atrocity occurs, he benefits. Intent is irrelevant if result is known. If you fund a hitman and say, I didn't mean for anyone to get hurt, does that clear you? No. Once you know, you become ethically bound to stop. Jake might argue taxes are forced. He can't opt out. My hypersanity retort: admit you're trapped, not innocent, but don't pretend your conscience is clean. Outsourcing responsibility to the state doesn't make it vanish. This is just like every Nazi ever, just following orders. If you admit you're coerced, then at least you're not lying. But when you pretend there's no more weight to your participation, you're outsourcing your ethics to the system that coerces you. I don't support rape and torture, I just pay for it. If someone funds a system that commits atrocities and justifies it by claiming I don't support it, they are morally outsourcing. Moral outsourcing is when a person delegates, deflects, or disconnects their personal ethical responsibility to external systems, governments, and corporations, while continuing to benefit from or fund those systems. They outsource their ethical responsibility, not just the labor. This could be seen in Purge, how Purge is legal. Just because killing is legal doesn't mean you should do it, right? A law doesn't state morality. Plenty of laws are immoral, right? Plenty of laws are immoral, highly unethical laws. And you know, this is modern day fascism. Anti-vegans, non-vegans are fascists by literal definition, right? They're forcing animals into gas chambers just like World War II. Just like World War II and every other genocide. In fact, it's actually proven academically that the animal genocide is the biggest genocide in human history. That's right. Animal genocide is the hugest genocide, and it's also contributing to the genocide of all life on the planet. So either you're vegan or you're not a humanist. It's that simple. If you wish to debate me, I'm up for debate, but chances are you're not, because you're scared as shit against me. You're scared of shit against people like Vegan Teacher and I. You're just scared as shit. That's why you hide. That's why you can't name me. That's why you use these Nazi memes that can be tied to terrorists against me. So, yeah, I'm open for chat. You're not. That's leftist, right? That's these liberal left, right? The left, the entire left base is liberal progressives, right? They just say they're for doing good, they're for doing that. Like for Steve Shives' example, he argued against accessibility. That's right. Steve Shives, a non-disabled person who's not a doctor, said that there's no reason people need GPT for barriers, right? He said there's no reason for AI for barriers. He argued against accessibility. That's arguing against DEI. You're arguing against basic human rights for barriers that you don't even acknowledge exist. If you don't see barriers and you just say they don't exist because you don't see them, congratulations, you're on the side of fascism. You, not me. You. Your actions, not my actions. It's also every liberal progressive that outsources their responsibility onto me, instead of taking accountability for their actions, for what they say. They like to scapegoat everything on just one person, like they do Vegan Teacher and I, which is pretty pathetic, right? They want to talk about responsibility and this and that, but they lack complete responsibility. Like Healthy Gamer GG, who used a Nazi meme against me. That's right. Healthy Gamer GG used a Nazi meme against me. So I mean, it's crazy how all these leftists just act like right wingers, right? Like Reich wingers. Like the left is almost becoming the Reich in a way. Like they're using ableist terms like crashing out and stuff like that against mental health issues. They've weaponized autism. Lefties are weaponizing autism. That's right. Lefties are weaponizing autism and neurodivergence, mental health, all sorts of things just because they don't like me, right? So they're attacking every disabled person. They're attacking every vegan, and it's pretty disgusting. Like they have no real responsibility or morality. It's pretty pathetic. If you actually wish to prove me wrong, then do so. Otherwise, I'm right and you're full of shit.